Thank you. So a few months ago, Paul did his 10 minutes and he did a bunch of top tips and I really liked it and I thought, I'll nick that. So I'm standing on Paul's shoulders, which makes me incredibly tall.
You give them plumbing tips?
Yeah. So a tiny bit about me. I'm married to Tracy. We've got 2 great kids. I started my career in the city on the life exchange. I was a trader wearing a funny colour jacket and swearing a lot. Yeah. That's how you get the job done. Partway through the career, I disappeared for a year or make around the world. That was all right. That closed in 99. I kind of fell into this by accident. I started clearing 06, and now there's myself and Paul, the other advisor, really, really good. And we've got 4 admin staff, Caroline, Kaylee, Mandy, and the new boy, Steve. We're a nice little close-knit group. So, off we go. I will do that in my 60 seconds. Here we go. Number 1, top tip number 1, the emergency fund. First rule of financial planning, have that emergency fund. Something that's instant access, bit of cash there for getting a new washing machine or repairing the roof or whatever it might be. There's no right or wrong at how much it should be. Some people it's like 300 quid. I've got one client who's got 700 grand as an emergency fund. It's his platform. Number 2, protect what you have. I pointed to life cover and critical cover. So we all insure our stuff, our house, our car, mobile phone, washing machine. And we insure the entire value of it. But what's your value? You're the one who pays for it. So how much are you insured for? You don't insure your car for 25% of its value, do you? So have a think about that. Think what you've got in place. Start saving now. It's never too late, but the earlier the better. So if you're 20 years old, saving £200 a month, by the time you get to age 67, you'll have 600 grand thereabouts in your pension pot. If you wait 10 years, so that's 24 grand that's not gone into your pension or savings, you'll have almost half that. So that delay is really, really costly. So start now. Number 2, risk. Who thinks risk is good? Who thinks risk is bad? It is what it is. The important thing is to recognise it, understand it, and be accepting of it. If you can tick those 3 boxes, then crack on, you're doing all right. If you can't tick those 3 boxes, maybe there's something else you should be investing in that's more suitable. Oh, home ownership. So, if you own a house with someone else, there are 2 ways you can own it. You can be joint tenants, which means you share in the total ownership of that property. Or you can be tenants in common, where you kind of own, say, 50-50 each, like you've got a specific share. If you're the first one, joint tenants, where you share the total ownership, and one of you goes into care, and that's your only asset, the local authority will come after that asset. And your spouse or your partner might be kicked out, they have to find somewhere else to live. If you've got tenants in common, you only own half of it. So they can come after that share, but they can't come after the rest of it, so your partner is safe. So check it out, talk to a solicitor, and maybe you need to change it. Oh, gifts. Right. So how many times someone phones up or in the meeting and says, I'm going to sign the house over to the kids. And the reason I'm going to do that is to avoid you an inheritance tax or care home fees. Okay. It doesn't work. Because you haven't really given it to the kids. You signed it with a paper. It's called a gift with reservation because you reserved some right or ownership or use of that asset. So it doesn't work. And moreover, what a bad idea. So you sign your house over to little Johnny, Johnny goes bankrupt, or Johnny gets divorced, someone else is coming after that house. It's not yours anymore. So be careful of that one. PowerPoint, like the transition. That's supposed to be the tax man. I threw this on the ground quickly. Right, so ISAs, pensions, general investment accounts, onshore bonds, offshore bonds, they all have different tax treatments. And the taxation on your investment can have a huge impact on the outcome. So that's where it's really important to take advice. We all know ISAs are pretty tax efficient, but once you get outside of that, it gets a bit more complicated. Behaviour. We're animals, we're emotional beings, and quite often when profound or unusual things are happening, emotion will drive our decisions. So if the stock market's doing really, really well, or there's a stock market crash, emotion takes over. So for example, there's a crash, At some point, people start to panic. That's when they sell, and that's the worst time you should sell, because that's probably when the market's going to bottom out. So when you're having a reaction or thinking, make a decision, and it feels like that's being driven by emotion, take a step back and talk to someone about what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or what you're thinking of doing, and why you're thinking of doing it. Behaviour is really important. Pensions. We all know we can get tax-free cash from pensions, and when you get to age 55, at the moment, legislation is going to change. You can access your pensions and take out your tax-free cash, but just because you should, or just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Is that right? Yeah, that's it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Keeping your tax-free cash in your pension can be really useful when you're generating income, because it then means 25% of your income is tax-free. Now, there might be reasons to take it rather than pay off your debts or take it rather than a great holiday. Fantastic. But just think about what you're doing and why. Okay. Inheritance tax. It's a voluntary tax. There's an awful lot you can do with inheritance tax to mitigate it. Not all things are suitable for all people, but it's really worth having a discussion with someone to find out what you can do and what's appropriate and whether it's the right time to do it now. So I really like helping people with that. There we are. That was a real blast through.
Yes.
Any questions?
What should you do with your house instead of signing it over?
Well, don't do that. That is rule number one. And
Just read the last
if it's inheritance tax, there are other things you can do. You got IHC allowances on your residential property up to £1 million. Okay, potentially. So £1 million house is probably going to be protected from the inheritance tax. You can take out insurance to pay it all for you. Care home fees. Like I said, if you change the ownership, that's going to help. There's a certain trust that gets put inside the will that can help as well. But yeah, don't sign over to anyone, please. Anyone else?
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, we talked about with houses and care home fees and that kind of thing. I seem to be touched on it there. That people should talk to you also about maybe altering their will to reflect what you're doing, because they tie in. You know,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's when it gets to estate planning, it's people that solicitor, for that change of the ownership and making sure the will bills in order, and putting powers of attorney in place. That's not really aspect of all this. And then someone like me, and possibly the accountant for the actual tax side of things. Yeah, definitely. Jane?
Yes, how do Tracy land such a thing?
Jim's nightclub.
Oh,
Classy.
I think it's like the third thing I said to them. So,
Interested in your views on premium bonds.
yeah, great. I mean, generally, you get equivalent to a half decent interest rate, but there's always a chance that you might land a big one.
If people think the ownership instead of,
Yeah.
should that be a norm at 50-50? So that for me, is that should it be 50-50 or do you do the whole?
Good luck to the missus you want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what I mean.
You can do it like you can do 1%, 99%. You can do whatever you like.
Is it worth doing that over doing joint?
I would say normally yes, but you will speak to a sister. Anyone else?
No, my car crash, my guarantee that.
Yes. Yes. Good luck with the conversation. Jake.
we're all a little bit concerned about Rachel in accounts and what might be about to happen. And you don't have the crystal ball,
No.
but it makes us jittery as to whether we should take out the 25% from the pension now or whatever. How do you deal with those concerns?
Well, the budget last year, that was a big one. They made a huge, profound change in bringing pensions into the inheritance tax regime. That was massive. And we're still kind of like trying to deal with the repercussions of that, even though it's not actually enforced yet.
Wow.
So that was a really, really big one and quite an aggressive move. I get asked every year about the tax-free cash. Is it going to be abolished? Okay.
Yeah.
My personal view is no, because that's going to be a massive vote later. None of us going to like that. When you think how the winter fuel bill used to go down, this tax-free cash is a much, much bigger conversation, much bigger issue. If I'm wrong, and they did abolish it, I think they were bringing some form of protection for those people that have tax-free cash already. They did it a few years ago when they introduced the lifetime allowance. So you could have up to 1.8 million in pension before incurring any tax penalties and having too much in a pension. And over the next few years, they started bringing that down. Every time they brought it down from 1.8 to 1.5, they brought in protection for those people that are already there. And they've done it every time they reduce the lifetime allowance. So I think they will do something similar. Maybe just stop pensions and invent a new thing. Retirement accounts or something.
Yeah.
So if you've got a pension, that's tax-free cash, you can know, but you can't have any more now when you have a retirement account or something else. I think they'll do something to protect what's there. To get rid of it will be a massive retrospective tax. And they won't do the next election. Or any election afterwards. That's a personal opinion. No, what do I know?
Right.
Looks like a question, but perhaps you could help explain that. When most people have a work-based pension where your money just gets dumped into the A1 for
I'll break it.
What does that actually having a look at the funds that you've automatically been placed into?
Yeah.
You can change that fund, I'm not sure.
Depending on the scheme, so some of those schemes have one fund, but there'll be a lifestyle fund. So when you're on the 20s, they'll be mostly invested in shares, and as you get closer to retirement, the risk will go down and become more sedate. So these are going to protect the funds so you're not hit by a crashing markets or something. Some schemes have like a small handful, and some have hundreds or thousands. Whatever scheme you're in, there's probably going to be a portal you can log into, and there'll be information in there as to what you're invested in, what that means, and what the other options are. But it's up to you to work out what's right for you. Or comes to me and I charge you a big fat fee.
Thank you. Are we done? That's absolutely marvellous. Please show our appreciation.